been looking at where we're having our next one, and we will be going to Sydney. But when you look at, sorry, this is not an EventsAir thing, but when you look
Doesn't matter.
just because I know from the post-event how much rebate we got from spending on catering, it made them quite affordable.
Really?
Yeah. Like we had, like, it was actually even, because you know you don't get any funding or whatever, but it kind of almost matched some of the funding we get at some of these places with the rebate. But that's having our gala dinner on site and things like that.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm looking at Hyatt Regency. And like Hilton, and then I'm looking at Canberra, NCC.
So what was your virtual? So you did live stream this year.
Yeah,
didn't
live stream
really
last
work.
year. No.
So this year you're going to
record. And what we're going to do,
sell an on-demand package.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is screen record with audio over the top so that it matches the slides, and just do it like that.
Yeah,
like who wants to see the presenter?
I know we did that recently for a smaller event where was only an in-person event, and I didn't tell anyone that we were going to record, but I wanted to test doing that record over audio, because I know I'd spoken to someone and they said that's what they've been doing. That's all they do. And I thought, well, you know what? It's a whole lot cheaper to do it. And do you know what? We've had zero feedback that it was bad or whatever. And so much so that our CPD team decided to add an extra live streaming room. And I said, no, you can't live stream, but I will record and I will just do a voiceover, because, I can't afford to do that many live streams.
This is my argument that I just keep having, is there's a very big difference price-wise between live streaming versus recording. And it's like people don't understand. I had somebody internally tell me that the way that you do a hybrid event is you get two laptops and you put them back to back.
Huh?
Yeah, so one looks at the audience and then the other looks at the presenter, and that's how you live stream. I was like,
brilliant.
That is not how you live stream.
I don't think it depends. I think if you're probably the expert, Grant, but I think if you're recording and you still have a camera operator, then you're probably not going to save any money.
Not a huge amount, maybe a few
but I think
thousand,
definitely just doing the voiceover on the presentation, that is where you'll make some good savings.
Well, because what is it, equipment-wise, you're talking a couple of $1,000s for the camera, and then camera operators, you're looking at anywhere from like 110 to 150 an hour. Minimum call out of 4 hours. So
yeah, it's that sort of consideration. It is. I think that the difference is the interaction, right? So as soon as you go to an on-demand package, you're doing zero interaction, right? Which is fine, right? Now it's just about content, and when it's just about content, you don't really need to see the person. You don't need to see their face, right? So you might as well just do slides and audio. If you're wanting interaction, like if it is live as well, then I think the engagement drops to nothing if you didn't have their faces, right? If you're trying to do like a Q&A and they can't see anything, and it goes to a panel and you've just got a holding slide on the screen, like that's not a great experience. But essentially, when you do it as an on-demand package, it's like a podcast at that point, and people, put it on in the background and have a listen. Like I think it totally works. We're doing this event where we're just doing the same, just recording them all and posting them a week later. And so but if it's trying to be like a live event and have live interaction, then I would still argue that you just take the on-demand footage, as in the slides and audio, and then create like an encore event. I've talked about that before, but like you do an encore event, which is two weeks later, a month later or something. It's a 2-hour event. You get your key speakers back on if they're happy to, and now you do an online only, Q&A. and it's for people to just ask questions based on all the content that they've watched. That's a really cool value add. And it gets everyone all connected, so that's an idea.
Well, and it
Another way
also
of
gives the
reusing.
opportunity for people who were even online, in person, to then go back if
That's
they've
right.
Because I'm a processor. I come
Mhm.
up with questions the week or two afterwards.
Yep.
So that would be amazing for me. The other thing that I've found with when I've been virtual, because obviously I've done a lot of virtual, I probably attended more virtual events than in-person events, I feel, is that you still, you talk about the engagement. There's still not, you're not going to guarantee that your question's answered, because that's only if the moderator actually answers. And the reason I was away is because I was on a business retreat, and I told my business coach, I was like, you are genuinely the best in terms of virtual, because I was virtual last year. Best virtual experience I've ever had, because they have a camera. I mean, granted, it was a small event and it was just her on stage, but still they had a camera set up that she would look down so that she could actually
talk to the
down the
audience.
camera
Yeah.
and talk to the virtual audience. Plus they had a laptop there that she was, every now and then she'd like when we were doing something else in the room, she'd be able to bend down and actually directly chat to the virtual people. So it was really well done. And that I think is where hybrid works, is where you've actually got the ability to have that interaction. Otherwise there's just not.
Yeah, and that's the thing that we're trying to do, is like trying to educate, like not just our attendees, but because obviously association, so we do smaller branch events. When you say hybrid, what you're talking about is not hybrid. Hybrid means that the virtual attendee and the in-person attendee have the same experience when it comes to interacting with the presenter. And that's not happening with the way that you're doing it, because people are putting their hand up in the room and they're asking questions. So that means that the person who is at home is, So it's, and I think that then again makes a difference between like somebody who does a speaker circuit and is a professional speaker versus, the 200 presenters that we get. We're never, ever going to be able to train them to be able to present to both audiences, because that's not their skill set. We struggle just getting the death by PowerPoint not to happen.
It's not possible, like it's not possible. And what happens is it's our lower brain that, like, when there's someone else in the room, they're going to be the priority. And so we've even done events where it was a studio, and we would go out of our way to hide the camera people as well, right? Because the presenter would naturally lock onto the eyes of whoever's in the room. And so if we're doing it like that, we don't want anyone else in the room, because we want it really clear that the audience is the one that are online. And preferably we're not live streaming, we're doing Zoom so that we can see the people. And big screens with lots of gallery faces, so you can see it all. And so we often talk about it as being like it's the Christmas dinner table and the adult table and the kiddie table, right?
Oh, that's so cute.
The online audience is at the kiddie table. They're there at lunch, but they're not in the adult conversation.
I love that analogy. I'm going to use that this
such a
week.
good analogy.
But I must say, EventsAir, like airtime, I think I've done one hybrid of theirs, and Hope, shout out to Hope. I think I've even told her in person that, she's a great
She did very well at that
audience. She does. She looks down the barrel of the camera, and that's what you want. Like when you're online. And I've tried to instill that into some of our like chairs, and that like there may not be, like sometimes when we're running so many concurrent, sometimes you'll have a lecture section with not too many people. I'm like, but don't forget, we've got how many people online watching, and we try to enforce it with our chairs that the first question you need to ask needs to be online from the app. Like, that's your first question. While everyone else is, you're running a mic.
Oh no, mics are out. See ya. I've taken them out of all the rooms.
Yeah, it's good.
Because I
Kind of
mean,
have to, because then we have with the feedback is that, people ask questions, we can't hear what their question was.
and then my counter argument to that is, well, you keep telling me that you want a virtual element. So if you want a virtual element, you need to put it through the app.
We try and do the app, but then we still have people shouting. So yeah, it was
I
actually
would
much
evict
better
them.
this year.
Get
more
out.
people did use the question
Post
and
through the
answer
app.
on the app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But then we
that's
didn't answer them, and then they got grumpy.
that's what I was going to, yeah. I think that is a thing. And often I've said this before, that we don't allocate enough time to questions,
No.
which is really, it's really a key thing. And it's also, there's a skill in chairing sessions. And we often don't do enough training of our chairs,
No.
And so
All of those
getting
people out
through
there who are listening, send us your chair notes.
But I think it's also, I've got from the feedback, I think from, I find these chats so worthwhile and I can't remember who said it, but it was like, what is the whole purpose of people coming to the conference? Is
Yep.
it to just be spoken to, or is
I
it
think it's
because you actually
Grant.
want them to interact? Probably Grant.
I
Grant
think
always
that you
says
did
great
say
things.
that because I
was
quote
saying
you a lot of times when I talk about presentation types. I quote you all the time. I'm like,
Yeah.
in my group of experts, everyone knows about all of you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
Um,
we've
Yeah.
actually, we've done it this year. So I've taken it on. So for next year, instead of us having a huge lecture block and then we do Q&A at the end, we've actually halfway through, we've put it in as like a 10-minute Q&A block.
Right.
It also will also hopefully allow the attendees, if they want to swap sessions, it's a bit easier. But it also means if we're running a bit behind, we've got that extra 10-minute buffer and it was from this group that I said, it's because we want people to have more of a voice, to actually have time
Absolutely.
to network. So anyway, I'll report back June next year to see whether it worked or not.
Especially when we are thinking about on-demand packages and things, right? It's like you're sitting in that session now. Do you know what? You don't need to remember all of this content because we've got it available for you. Like, it's available for you afterwards. What you need to be thinking about is what's the question that's really, like bugging you, that you would love to ask this person, and in this context, in this room, what sort of responses would we get from some of those challenging questions that you've got that have come from the content? It just changes the way, like, that's where I think case studies
Oh, yeah.
are underrated, and we often just throw them in as like, oh, well, let's just throw in a case study session. Those case study sessions are incredible, whether it's a scientific based event or not. Whatever the event is, there's always the ability to have, let's talk about this journey of this person, this experience, whatever it was, particularly in medical, and that's where I've seen it work best, is where it's like, this is how the patient presented, and then 6 months later, this is what happened, but pausing all the time and saying, now what would you do? And so now, bunch of questions, people in the audience are saying, oh, I would probably do this. Okay, well, that's exactly what I did do, and this is what happened, or whatever it is. I think that stuff is incredible. The engagement is off the charts.
One of the things that I really pushed for this year is, with thanks to Lisa, is getting a content expert to help me put the program together. And she has just looked at the program so differently. And
That's
one of the
cool.
things that she has been doing when she's looking at it is she's reserved one stream completely as she's calling it curated content, but she's picking submissions from like the submissions process, one that is the practical, like that case study. Oh, this case study relates to probably this research. So let's put this research, this case study together. We'll get them to present their things, and then we'll have a Q&A at the end of that. And I'm going to be really interested to see how that works, because that's what we always keep coming back to is, especially medical and allied health, we need to have that evidence. How do we get that evidence? Researchers, academics, not that great at translating it into practice, but the people want the practical, but we need to make sure. So I will let you know and see what happens around that, because I'm looking forward to that.
Very cool.
And I think it's fun for us to do new things, like to mix it up. Like
Something different.
Sometimes you just feel like, oh, it's a cookie cutter, let's do the same thing again. And I
Death by
like doing
PowerPoint.
new things. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did my event. I think I might have said, in one day we had 4 presentations, and that was it.
That was it.
That was it. I had an hour and 15 minutes for each presenter. Granted, we started traditionally late and finished probably a bit earlier. So I think it was like 9:30 till 4:30. So
Sounds
we had
nice.
a presenter. So the idea was that each presenter spoke for about 45 minutes, and then there was half an hour
Thank you.
ish to for Q&A and discussion. And we had
Love it.
3 presenters and 1 panel, and I got amazing feedback from it. And
Really
because
cool.
there was a break between each presentation as well, so it was presentation, morning tea, presentation, lunch, presentation, afternoon tea. The only thing that I didn't think about is that they were all quite heavy presentations.
Mm.
Some people came out of it and they're like, "Oh, it was so good, but oh my God." One was talking about ADHD, one was talking about dyslexia. So everyone came out of that either
Wow.
ADHD or dyslexic.
Just simple topics.
Just simple topics.
Mm.
And the next one was there's a cult over here called Gloriavale. And
Oh, you mean a real cult? Sorry.
a real cult,
Oh,
like an
sorry.
actual
I thought you
cult.
meant like
Yeah, well,
cult
No, it's
following.
an actual cult. And we had one of the levers from there who
Wow.
volunteered.
Wow.
So we had the person from the levers support group, and she was like, "We've got one of the levers who wants to come and talk." So she gave her story.
Lived
Unreal.
And there was
experience.
a
Yeah.
panel, and so
Damn it. Why didn't you invite us? I love it. I love listening
Sounds
to that
good.
stuff.
it was and yeah, like I say, everyone was like, it was, but to have like those 3 one after the other and then a panel, it was a bit intense, which
Do you know,
in hindsight was great.
there's a fear, I think, often that there won't be enough questions.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, we'll only get a couple of questions. It's like
Yeah.
if you're not getting more questions than you've got time allowed, no matter how much time it is, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
right, your event, you've done something wrong with your
Yeah.
event.
And that's
Everyone's
the thing is,
asleep,
so
or like what is it?
I talked to, so we paid for the ADHD and
Questions.
dyslexia person. They were for the presenters. So they were one of them's a professional speaker, the other one, she does workshops and stuff for people. So they knew that was the idea, was that it was a facilitated discussion. So
Very
they
cool.
knew what to do. Obviously you can't do that with everyone. But it was still, I still think, giving that opportunity, and we still ran over time because the discussions were just so good.
Yes.
Yeah,
Amazing.
so it's just that, and I'm currently I have a challenge with my part-time job because the conference that we had in August, they didn't even put question time in. Some of the presenters, it was just presenter after presenter,
Oh,
and it's because, and I've seen it before, they have this perception that to give people their money's worth, they
they
need
need
to
lots of
give as
content.
many
More content.
people, rather than quality of content.
Mm.
And not having questions. It's just, as an attendee, it sucks. Because like you say, that's the important bits. Otherwise, go watch them online.
Yeah, correct. And it's
100%.
like, I think that we've said this before. Hi, EventsAir, as you're listening to this. Like the airtime is great, right? But airtime is great when I'm
But
picking the brains of other people.
Mm,
Like those breaks and that networking is where I'm getting my money's worth
yeah.
to ask other attendees questions. The content, like I might learn 1 or 2 things,
Mm,
but that connection and the case studies is just like the people that I've met at that conference to then go and pick their brains at later stages is just invaluable.
yeah. For the
That's,
advanced users.
yes, you find them and you're like, don't let go of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
so something that I think people miss as well is that we talk about networking like we want to be able to talk to people. So something that really helps networking is questions.
Mm,
Mm.
And the reason is that when we hear a question that comes from someone, we
Right.
then go, oh, they're asking these sorts of things. I can go talk to that person about
Yes.
that.
Mm.
If you are just pushing content out to everyone, you don't know anything about anyone. You
Mm.
don't you know nothing, and so
You
then
don't know
you
who to
just
connect
you,
with,
you
yeah.
keep to yourself and you go and get your coffee and you sit in the corner.
Yeah. And you talk to
Whereas,
colleagues.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas when you hear, like, give me something about this, about who the people are in the room, and
Mm.
now it's like, oh, even that I know that this person comes from Melbourne, and that'd be great to talk to them about this or whatever it is. So even just questions actually prompts the
Mm.
networking to happen better. So
I like that. You're good at this, Grant. We need to
There
get
you
you to do like a marketing for
Oh,
how to
and
do presentations well.
and I think that's what it is. Like at the end, and that's what, I love these conversations is, you then go back in house and you say, well, hang on, what is the actual purpose?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's given
Have
us
you got
some
an answer
really
yet,
good.
Lisa? Because I'm still waiting for my answer. I've asked it multiple
Purpose.
times. No
Yeah.
one can give it to me.
It's CPD,
To,
right?
no, it's to educate, but then they've also really said, well, it's because the networking, and I'm like, okay, so that's why we need to have more Q&A time and bring. So I think I can't remember who suggested it, but we're going to do a second plenary on the Saturday, so all concurrent sessions stop and we're coming back in, and it's going to
Yeah.
be a great debate.
Mm.
Like half of them
Yeah,
might
that's
go
us.
go and
We
have
love
an
that.
early lunch,
Common.
but I think it's just it is about really focusing on bringing everyone back together.
I know I've got like, radical thinking on some of this, but I think
How are you
ideally,
not talking at the EventsAir conference?
Yeah, I reckon.
ideally you would run an event that doesn't have any concurrent sessions. Anything that's specific, like specific verticals, can be done online. The thing that
Oh my
the
gosh,
thing that
that
you
is
want to
so
do
radical.
thing you want to do is have a common experience for everyone, because that
Mm.
also generates more networking, right? Because everyone's on the same path. And so now they have all the same experience. They're not all fragmented across the building. They're all experiencing the same thing, and lots of time for that interaction, and a little bit of facilitated networking is what's super cool.
Mm.
And that's what airtime could be. Like all the all the announcements, the how-tos, all that stuff could all be online.
Yeah,
And then you
agree.
come together and just spend a bunch of time doing your interaction, networking, comparing notes, all of that sort of stuff,
Mm.
and
Yeah,
facilitate that a little bit to help some of the introverts.
yeah. I was
But it
lucky.
but it could work.
I was lucky I got invited to, I can't, oh, now I'm going to forget who it is. It's one of those associations for associations, Answers. They do an events retreat,
Oh, yeah.
2 days. And my favorite session that we did this year, Sarah, you should go one year, is they gave us an event. And then each table had a different
That's cool.
delegate, and it was just really interesting because it wasn't your
Mm.
event, it was something different, and just being able to discuss and have other ideas with other people, it was really cool, really cool. Yeah.
That is
And I
And
cool.
think that
interesting how people approach it differently as well.
Mm.
mm,
That's just
All right.
triggered me. Sorry.
In a positive way,
And then
negative way.
kind
Oh,
of it was Alec. It was in the
Ugh.
days where we did the yeah, you had to do the like build something in your
yeah.
tables, and you had your laptops and everyone had to build the
Yep.
thing, and they gave you the content. You remember those, Sarah? I don't
Yep.
know if you were there, Lisa, but um and
Very nice features. You can do it multiple ways. I'm like, I don't want multiple ways, Alec.
I
I
just
just
thought
want to know how to do it.
and then I think it was the year after I'd won the whatever you call it, the doing something good. I can't remember. I've got my trophy somewhere. Um still. And I had Alec like behind me going, come on, Francie. You got the trophy last year. You should be really good at this. Just in my ear, creating
Mm.
a scene. I was like, oh my Alec.
Wow.
It was fun, but
No pressure.
no pressure.
Yeah. All
Anyway,
right. Can I do a little show and tell? This
Yes.
is
do we
now.
really want you to?
Yeah. Well, this is
Will
this
we
is
be
the
depressed?
difference. No, that's my point, is that I want to make this available for people to use.
Okay.
All right. So
Just doing show and
that's my
tell and
thinking.
then being like, no, you can't have it. It's really
No,
horrible.
this I'm
Grant,
I'm
you need to
specific.
have at airtime like your own booth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go
We'll
ask
set you up with a
Grant.
tabletop.
I'm I
Gonna have to
hold a
have multiple
weekly meeting. What else do I need to do?
Yeah, but we want to come and with like a coffee and we can sit there for like 2 hours. Sessions. We're
All
not going
right.
to sessions.
So introducing Eva,
Oh yes, we saw
Eva.
Eva. Yes.
Events virtual agent. Okay, so she's changed a little bit, but it's working well. So you should see my Simpsons event here.
Yeah.
If I shift to here. So if we can go, all right, so there's a few things that we can do that are somewhat like bulk actions, but there's a few different ideas. So if we go,
Sessions.
so if we go create,
Oh, disable live questions and polling. That's a pain in the ass.
there you go. So if we say whatever we want there, we're going to make it the 21st. Start at 9 a.m.
Do you dream about this stuff? Is this like the stuff that you lie in bed and think about?
A little bit.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? 60-minute sessions, no gap between. Put it in track 1. Choose a location if you want to. So then everything we do is like preview what it's going to do. So it's going to create 15 placeholder sessions. And so
Wow.
so if we're now to
No.
Oh, this is so fast.
Yeah.
so I think, I don't know, sometimes I'm guessing what some people would use, but like creating placeholder sessions sometimes can be handy before you know what the content is. You know roughly what it's going to be. And so oops, I'm putting that in the
You have
volume
an
as well, but
end
whatever.
time?
Well, yeah, duration, yeah,
Yeah, but an end time because you've got all the way
if you
till
want to change
midnight.
it. Oh, right.
Because then you've got to
Because
go in and delete those
I did
ones.
15 hours. That's that's what it was.
Where did
Did I do 3? There we go. So then, as we were saying, I'm not sure if
there 15.
everyone needs this, but so if we say I want it Friday and track 1,
I mean, just that would save so much time.
Yeah. And I think
Mm.
this is like, I know events are looking at how to use AI or whatever. And I think a lot of us, we still want to do the stuff. We just don't want to do the bulk,
Yeah.
this, which is so time consuming, but you can see in real time, Grant. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing this, like how quick you can do this. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But then, yeah, it was even like this.
Delete sessions is massive.
Yeah, when you duplicate an event.
Yeah.
So I say that we're doing a track. So then you could say a location. You need to move just a location, the timings on something. So this will show that it should just be alpha. Yeah. So now it's just moving all the sessions back 15 minutes. There it goes.
Wow.
So so that stuff's working really nicely. And then you can see, yeah, the live toggling. Like I played with that. So if we just said everything and just enable, I mean, you're not normally doing, you often can be doing live questions, but not necessarily polling. But if we just set it and we just did it across the whole day, it should say there's whatever that is, 45 sessions or something.
Which, like,
42
I
sessions.
know, like, I've got an event on Saturday and we only have 6 sessions or whatever, but it's just, I have to go back and just double check that, you know, that I have enabled all the live Q&A.
Yeah.
But,
Mm.
you know, when you can just do this and it would do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
So you
just, you
can
know, it's
see.
human error. Like, I think, oh, okay, I've gone into that one. Oh, did I actually go into that one? Whereas
Yeah.
at least AI is going to be a lot more thorough than I
Yeah.
am.
So there's that, and then I'm still playing with chat in the idea of not just kind of getting reporting, but potentially doing like, not that this is that, like mm, like if it's already knows everything, if it knows how many, like if it knows your whole event, then having a chat that could kind of, I mean, that's not a great example, right? You never really want to know how many presentations on average, but it's proving the concept that it knows, it pulls all the sessions and all the presentations, and then is processing that data for you based on what you're asking. So I kind of changed this a little bit to make this. I had all this as a chat option where it was like change the background and typing it all out. And I realized that it was firstly a little bit slow typing it all out, and also open to it being
Errors.
not quite,
Yeah.
not quite right. Whereas
Yeah.
locking this down, one of the things that I did was like
Oh,
normalizing mobile numbers and things like
Oh
that,
my
like
God.
picking the country and putting in the country code so that you can now text message everyone, find countries. And then this one, I'm working on this idea that what it could do is take the biography that someone has posted, in the submission portal, store that as a custom field, so that you have the original in it,
Mm.
and then just tell AI, I want it to be 2 sentences or 3 sentences or whatever, and just have it process them, and then just have a little report that you could just see, and at any point you could go back and redo it or whatever, but you could have uniformed bios for everyone, no matter how big the event was. But things like that.
even like
Yeah.
changing presentations so that they are presentation titles, so that they're uniform, so that it's sentence case instead of
Yeah. Caps.
title case.
Yep.
All caps, because I want to yell my title at you.
I tried to
So
give
you
them an
can see that
example,
reflected.
like, make sure you use sentence case, an example, my presentation title, and then like colon, blah, 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 blah. And so I've had people who put my presentation title, colon. I'm like, oh, it was an example.
Because we like to make our bios look uniform,
Mm.
but it's a manual process. Like, we
Yeah.
have to go in and
Just-
put,
Doesn't
like,
need to
one
be.
line is their name, one
Yeah.
line is their, whereas I'm guessing this could just go in and
Totally
do
could.
it all.
Right.
Yeah.
Third
Out of
party. Don't say I am.
out of curiosity, one of the things that marketing person that I did a workshop with, she uses AI all the time. She talked about whenever she did those sorts of summaries, she put a phrase in that was basically, don't change.
We all enjoyed that. Thank you.
Yeah. Not to change the original language. So basically it wouldn't, because she said that often when AI summarizes things, it can change words.
Mm.
Is that something that you can do within that grant?
Yeah. So just explain that again.
when you're
Changing what?
concentrating.
Yeah, I was. I did
Um,
zone out for a moment.
Yeah.
He's having too much fun.
Yeah.
I like watching it make the changes
Okay, are we concentrating?
a little bit.
Because I feel like it's quite important.
More than I was before.
Okay. So
Yes.
basically the Chat GPT, sometimes when you ask it to summarize things,
Yes.
changes the language. Whereas if
Yes.
you're changing bios, you want to make sure that it just summarizes, it doesn't change anything.
I think
Yes.
it's also telling
prompts.
ChatGPT the tone. Like, can you please change this? You know, like for me, it would be like, this is a medical bio, so please ensure. Yeah, I could think it's just telling what tone, also letting it know what tone.
But
Yeah.
I just mean in terms of this tool, this wizard,
Yeah. Yes.
is that something that you...
Yeah. Totally. I think that part of it would be providing the pre-prompt. And so if the prompt really is that it's asking to condense a bio,
Yeah.
what else do you want to say? And then, and Lisa, exactly what you're saying is, it's like, this is the tone that I want. You know, I want to maintain all the facts that are in this bio. I don't want you to add anything extra. You know, like, this is a real person, and just condense it.
Yeah.
And so the key to it, I think, is that I think that you could do it one by one. And that's one of the things I thought, is that if you're just literally just clicking and it goes, here's a suggestion for this one, I think it's still way quicker than what we do currently, where you're like, and you're kind of approving it. And so having that option to manually approve each one, or once you are happy, if you felt like you were confident that it was okay, then just do a report and then you just read through what it did and see what you think, knowing that you could change anything. But I really am thinking about the types of, like there's a couple of events that we've got that I've got a Slack channel that sends me updates of changes to our events. So it tells me what fields changed. And so when we've got team members that are working on changes throughout the day, I just get little notifications that says, this session title changed from this to this. And it's just a little Slack notification, right? Which is really cool. It's really handy. But the thing that I was noticing a lot of was someone changing all of the phone numbers, and so that was an example of me like, man, someone's sitting there and going and changing, reformatting phone numbers. It's clearly a thing that we can automate. And so it's gathering those things that people do. What are those 1, 2, 3 hour jobs that you do in EventsAir that are just a rinse and repeat job? That's there for the taking today, that type of job, from an AI sort of point of view. So
I've already thought of one.
Oh, sorry, Lisa.
No, cutting bios into each presentation that they're doing.
yeah, putting when you taking it from the contact and putting it into the presentation.
Like if they're doing like we have a lot that will do 2 to 4 presentations for us, and because they update their bio, but it's only in their contact, and then you physically have to go and cut and paste it into every single session that they're all their presentations. Like that would be something that could definitely be automated.
Yes, but also
if EventsAir just change the contact to that's
correct.
A great suggestion, Grant. Yep.
No,
that's it's not. I feel like that's been suggested once or twice before.
No, but I think they did do that in the app, because that's something we've been messing around with. Particularly, we stumbled across this or tried to work out, if you have a presentation with multiple presenting authors, what bios does it show? So, and it seems to be that the presentation that the contact that it's assigned to, it shows the presentation bio, but for every subsequent author, it shows their contact bio.
Really? Am I wasting all my time?
It's a newer thing. And so What I
I know
I'm
there's
not
also
certain.
there's a
Toggle or something.
I know there's something different. Like, so if I'm doing an on-air event,
Yeah.
I can't put, because it has a double up of bios.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
think it's
the
because
role.
I can't add them as a role
Yeah.
for on air, but
Yeah, because you don't get bios for roles.
it's
Yeah.
just, it's a weird double up.
Yeah.
But
We
why
go
do you
around in
need to use
circles on it, but
roles?
what?
What do you need to use roles for?
Well, we use them for like session chairs, volunteers, staff, if we need to assign them to sessions.
Analysts.
Adjudication.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's
Yeah,
more to
I mean,
give them a roadmap of what
Yeah.
they're kind of
Yeah,
doing.
right.
But to be honest, I'm finding the filters aren't working. So I'm
Mm.
going to go back to old school mail merge next time. Because
yeah.
it just like if if they've got too many roles, if they've got a session chair, they're presenting, and then
Mm.
they might be adjudicating as well, it just gets too messy. And for those few, there's only maybe like 20 that do that. I'm just going to do a mail merge for them. It's just, and then I know it's going to be right.
Yeah, we're playing around with that as well. So chair, like, um, the the chairs, the chair notes that we have, as an example here. So like chair and co-chair is an example where this is not showing perfectly because I haven't set this event up properly yet, um, but this is showing bios. I haven't got the presenter bios and then session role bios, so that when we hand out a chair sheet, you can see all the roles bios as well and photos and things, and so that it's easy for people to see, like the presenters to know who the chairs are is also
Mm.
really handy.
I remember when you
So
showed me this last year and I was like, oh my God, it's made my life so much easier.
yeah, so I mean, I'm trying to make. I think that Eva is an example of just something that could be, like all these subscription things. If it was like a $50 a month thing or whatever, or it was an event only thing or something, you would probably be able to justify,
Oh yeah.
a few $100 or whatever. And it was like,
Mm.
okay, now it's like, this is just going to save me a whole bunch of time, because it's an assistant that literally, and this is the way that I'm thinking about AI a bit now, is how can I delegate some of the tasks that I have. And so now I kind of have a team. I had this team mentality where it's like, I've got 3 people working for me. How do I keep them busy? And it's the way that I'm doing some of my coding work now, is I'm working on multiple projects at exactly the same time, because I'm literally saying, okay, now go and change this. And then it'll take 10 minutes to do something. So then I'll go over to another project. And I thought that the multitasking aspect of that wouldn't work, but it really is. And it's no different to if I had 3 people and said, okay, you go do this while you go do this, and they come back and they, report back. And so I think that Eva can be, one of those team members for you in the way that
Mm.
you think about, some of those repetitive tasks, particularly.
Mm.
But potentially picking up problems, like going just, it's so that it's not just a report, it's actually processing data and then revealing things that are helpful for you. So anyway, it sounds like, as I heard from the Scottish, that Airtime are talking about some of this stuff
They are
as well.
definitely.
And so, it's not really rocket science what I'm doing here. It's all about the application of it, right? It's like coming from an event management point of view, thinking about the tools that would be very helpful, and what are the things that we spend hours doing, that we don't need to, we shouldn't need to. So anyway, so we'll see. We'll see if they're just going to announce something very similar.
Yeah.
Do
don't
do
think
you want to
so.
just do my
Wasted my time.
presentation on Monday? Just get up
Me?
and like click that through? Like
Well, no, we are get I'm going to make a little video of Eva that will play. Dior's doing a
Yes.
session. We're in the same one, right?
Yeah. Yeah. See,
So
exactly. I knew.
he'll talk about he'll talk about one of the Ansgar events, I think, that we'll use as a case study, and then we'll just say this is another thing that we've been playing around with is Eva. So, and that'll see what people think.
Are
So
you coming, Francie, or not? No.
Sad.
Too much money.
Yeah, to fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Well, the whole thing with accommodation,
Totally.
flights, and airtime registration is about $3,000 in the end.
Oof.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether are they going to do the recordings the same as last year, because I wasn't a huge fan. Like, did you, Sarah, have to pre-record? I don't know whether you noticed last year. So last year I was excited to go back and watch sessions that I missed, but they were all pre-records.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
That were like prior, and so it wasn't actually from, because I
weird.
remember I went and my coordinator, she went to one session and I went to another, and she was like, oh, you should go the questions and that, but they weren't there because they were all pre-records. But maybe they're not doing that this year. If you haven't done your pre-record, then it must be right.
Oh, Jesus, I hope not. I just handed my presentation in.
Yeah.
But good
Same.
to catch up, and yeah, hopefully next year in person. Fingers crossed.
Well, I'll see
They
the other
did.
two.
Yeah, they did talk to me about doing a panel or something, and I was like, or presentation. But yeah, we'll see.
All right. I'll see Grant and Sarah on Monday.
You
Yeah.
will. Bright and early.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.